Hello, everyone. I am Nicole Rivers, and I am your host and thought partner in my YouTube channel, Nikki in the Middle. Now, I've gotten older. My kids have matured, and I have gotten some agency in my career. I now have time to delve into those spaces and places that I just neglected previously in life. And so it is interesting. And I also find it very informative and kind of fun to go on this journey and deal with these things that have made me, but also have influenced who I am in ways that have been negative and trying to undo those things. I've been deep diving into emotional dysregulation and what that means and how it impacts me. I am a believer, I am a Christian. And so, in conversation with a sister of mine, she was talking about staying, sober minded when dealing with business and making big decisions. And, it revolutionized my thinking because I heard the spirit direct that differently towards me. When we are trying to deal with emotions and then we've attached shame to feeling emotions like sadness, and we've attached shame to feeling emotions like anger. And because somebody somewhere, some situation somewhere made us feel bad about feeling real emotions that we cannot control, we seek to deal with that emotional dysregulation in with coping mechanisms that aren't healthy for us. So some of us tend to eat emotionally. Yeah. Some people drink, some people drugs, some people, pleasure seeking of all sorts. Binge watching, okay, just numbing, period. Like we're not going to actually acknowledge the anger, or we're not going to actually acknowledge the sadness. What we're going to do is numb it so that we don't have to deal with it, because feeling sad or maybe make us feel like we're weak, and we feel shame associated with weakness. So when you grow up in a place where you can't show vulnerability because people might think you're a punk and they might bully you even more, you shut them down. And that's what I've done. And that's what I'm learning not to do anymore. So it's like, okay, how do I go from emotional dysregulation, where I have negative emotions overwhelming me, anxiety, fear, anger, sadness, and I face them in a healthy way where I figure out what triggered it. Why am I responding that way? Is the threat, is the situation real or not? How can I actively handle this so that those emotions dissipate? Can I handle it? Is it something in my control? There's so many ways that you have to process through emotions. And I'm trying to learn how to face those emotions and understand, okay, I'm having anxiety. Why am I having anxiety? I'm having anxiety because I have deadlines, self-imposed deadlines, and too many projects going on. Who's the boss in this situation? I am. Do I get to choose the projects I do and how fast and when? Yes. Why am I rushing it? I am afraid that I don't have enough resources, and these are key to resources. So I am rushing this process and it's costing me my peace. Well, who is my source? God is my source. Has He always provided? Yes, He has. Calm down, Nicole. So I don't know if that process helps you, but this is what I've had to learn, right? And this has been recent. It's just been recent. Like, instead of running to an audiobook that's just going to be fiction and take me out of the situation, or to entertainment, or to eating, which eating is still an issue for me, emotional eating. I am learning to address the situation, identify it, and try to see if I can resolve it. And so this is what she's talking about. And I've realized when the Holy Spirit was speaking to me, I don't drink, I don't use, a whole lot of anything, ibuprofen for a headache or to go to sleep occasionally, but that's it for me. However, I was not being emotionally sober. I was being drunk off emotions. And I would be so overwhelmed that it would cause adverse reactions and responses to things in ways where it's not like I'm necessarily hurting other people, but I'm shutting down. And I realized that or I am just I'm stuck. Stuck in survival mode. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So either I am getting aggressive, or I'm getting up out of this situation somewhere. I've been become immobilized. I can't talk. I can't think. I can't react. I can no longer converse. Or fawn, which I'm not much of a fawner. I will say that I do not placate people, or try to say, oh dear, oh you're right. Like that's not my style, because I came from the hood and we don't do that. That's like that punk stuff, right? So, I but survival mode is real. And the other part of that is, after leaving those situations, even if I navigate them, because I pray in all situations and the Holy Spirit to help me get out of something, I start to withdraw my emotions, withdraw my vulnerability, take my heart out of the situation. So I am physically present, but I'm emotionally distant and protected. And that stops the building of authentic, long term, intimate relationships. And intimacy meaning, intimacy, like knowing a person, not anything to do with physical intimacy, which is something that can happen without any real true intimacy. And so this journey that I'm on is so cool, because like I said, I'm always in the middle. I do have wisdom about how to navigate through certain things and how to compartmentalize when necessary. It's necessary as a teacher in a high school, in a professional environment. I do use all the tools I got from the hood and from the church and from being at a HBCU and all the things at my disposal to navigate this world. And it has been great, and it has served me well. But now I get to add to that. And to that, I get to add an authenticity and a healthiness with me, the little girl in me, the grown woman in me, all this part, this the wholeness of who Nicole should be, so I can offer myself and not just my gifts and talents. And I will have another conversation about that, about making authentic friendships by offering what you really want, asking for what you really want, instead of giving one thing that you think people will value in hopes that they'll give you something that you never really asked them for. That's a different conversation for a different time. But I hope that you got something from what I have learned, and I hope that it helps you. And this is me signing off, Nicole, your thought partner and host, from Nikki in the Middle.